On a cold winter night in February 2004, the life of 21-year-old Maura Murray was unexpectedly turned upside down. What seemed like a routine car accident along a quiet road in New Hampshire soon spiraled into one of the most baffling disappearances in modern history. Maura, a nursing student with a promising future, vanished without a trace after her car collided with a snowbank, leaving behind only questions and a mystery that still remains unsolved today. Was it a simple case of a young woman struggling with personal issues, or is there something far more sinister at play? Maura's disappearance has puzzled investigators, captivated the public, and sparked countless theories, yet the truth remains elusive. Join us as we revisit the case, piece together the timeline, and explore the unknowns that continue to haunt Maura's family, investigators, and everyone who has followed this mystery. Chapter 1: The Mysterious Crash and Maura's Disappearance. On February 9th, 2004, 21-year-old Maura Murray, a nursing student at the University of Massachusetts, left behind a life that seemed on track for success. Little did anyone know that this seemingly routine day would be the last time she was seen alive. Maura's car, a black Saturn sedan, was found abandoned, its engine still running and headlights on, perched precariously in a snowbank along Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire. It was a quiet, remote area, and Maura's car had crashed in a manner that suggested an accident. But when authorities arrived, they found no sign of her. What struck investigators as strange was the lack of any obvious signs of foul play or injury. Her belongings, including her wallet, credit cards, and cell phone, were left behind in the car. Maura's purse and keys were also inside the vehicle, and no footprints leading away from the scene were found. The one piece of evidence that could have led investigators to her was her car, but even that failed to provide any immediate answers. As the investigation began, questions surrounding Maura's state of mind before the incident began to emerge. What led her to this remote location in the dead of winter? Was it a genuine car accident, or was something more sinister at play? Was Maura simply lost in the snow, or was there a deeper reason she disappeared that night? Chapter 2: The Days Leading Up to Her Vanishing. In the days before Maura's disappearance, she had been acting increasingly out of character. Those closest to her noticed signs that something was wrong. She had withdrawn large sums of money from her bank account, a decision that raised suspicions. The money was withdrawn in multiple transactions, and Maura seemed to be preparing for something, but what? In addition to the financial activity, Maura had also booked a room at a nearby inn, though she never checked in. She had been planning to stay at the inn, but for reasons unknown, she never arrived. When friends and family learned of these strange actions, they began to worry that something was wrong. Maura's emotional state had seemed fragile, with reports of her becoming distant and upset in the days leading up to her disappearance. Maura's behavior hinted at something deeper, perhaps a personal crisis she had been hiding from those closest to her. But did these signs indicate a desire to escape? Or did they suggest something more troubling, like an internal struggle she couldn't confide in anyone about? This chapter delves into the confusion and concern that enveloped Maura's final days. What was she really running from, and did she behind in her behavior? Chapter 3: The Investigation Begins. The authorities launched a massive search for Maura after her disappearance, but it quickly became apparent that this would not be a straightforward case. With no body, no witnesses, and no clear evidence, investigators were left with very little to work with. They found Maura's car, but it seemed like she had vanished into thin air. What made the investigation even more baffling was the lack of any tracks leading away from the vehicle. In a remote area like Haverhill, it would be difficult for someone to walk away without leaving behind a trace. However, some witnesses claimed to have seen a woman walking along the road near the crash site, though they were unable to confirm if it was Maura. The lack of clues left many to wonder if she had intentionally disappeared, or if she had met with foul play. But without a body or a clear motive, the investigation quickly became a guessing game. Was Maura's disappearance a case of voluntary escape, or was something darker at work? The unanswered questions only grew as the investigation continued. Chapter 4: Theories and Speculation. As the investigation progressed, numerous theories began to surface about what had happened to Maura. One of the leading theories was that Maura had voluntarily left, perhaps to escape pressures from her family or school. This theory gained traction after it was revealed that she had been under a great deal of stress at the time of her disappearance. Another theory proposed that Maura had been the victim of foul play. This possibility was given weight by the strange circumstances of her car being found abandoned. If she had crashed, why didn't she seek help or wait for someone to find her? Why leave her car and belongings behind? Some investigators speculated that Maura might have been involved in a mental health crisis, leading her to make impulsive decisions. Others believed she could have been abducted, possibly by someone who had been following her or knew she would be in the area. With so many possible explanations, it seemed that every theory only led to more questions. This chapter analyzes each of the leading theories and looks at the evidence, or lack thereof, supporting them. The mystery deepens as we explore the various possibilities of what may have happened to Maura and why so many questions remain unanswered. Chapter 5: New Developments and Leads. Despite the case growing cold over time, new developments and leads would occasionally surface. In the years following Maura's disappearance, a handful of tips and reports came in, some suggesting possible sightings of Maura or new clues to her whereabouts. One lead involved a witness who claimed to have seen a woman resembling Maura near a nearby gas station. Other reports pointed to a man who had been seen in the area on the night of the crash, though this lead never panned out. While these developments briefly reignited hopes of a breakthrough, none of them provided the answers that Maura's family had been hoping for. This chapter examines the key developments over the years, exploring the challenges investigators faced when leads came in, only to dissipate. How do authorities handle tips that seem promising but ultimately lead to dead ends? How do you keep hope alive when every new lead fails to bring clarity? Chapter 6: The Ongoing Mystery and the Hunt for Closure. Over the years, Maura Murray's case has become a symbol of unresolved mysteries in the true crime world. Her disappearance continues to baffle investigators, the public, and her family. As time goes on, the questions surrounding her case only multiply. Is there someone out there who knows what happened to Maura? Or is she simply lost to history, a case that will never be solved? This chapter looks at how the case has evolved over time. It examines the role of the public, who have maintained interest in the case and continuously pursued new leads. The case has inspired numerous documentaries, podcasts, and online communities dedicated to solving the mystery. But despite all the attention, the answers remain elusive. What keeps the investigation alive after so many years? And why does the case of Maura Murray continue to intrigue so many people, even after all this time? Chapter 7: Maura's Legacy and the Search for Answers. The mystery surrounding Maura's disappearance has left an indelible mark on her family and the people who have followed her story. Despite the passage of time, her family refuses to give up hope. They continue to search for answers, clinging to the belief that one day they will know what happened to their daughter, sister, and friend. Maura's story has also become a reminder to many of the unpredictability of life and the fragility of human connections. Her case has sparked broader discussions about the pressures placed on young adults, particularly in academic and family settings. What can be learned from Maura's life and disappearance? And how can we prevent such tragedies in the future? In this chapter, we reflect on Maura's legacy, her family's continued search for closure, and the lessons her case has imparted to the public. Despite the questions that remain, Maura's case serves as a call for greater awareness of missing persons cases and the need for continued support for families in their search for truth. Chapter 8. The Role of Internet Sleuths. As time passed without major developments in the case, the internet became a hub for speculation, discussion, and investigation. A dedicated community of amateur sleuths and armchair detectives began diving into every available detail of Maura's life and the circumstances surrounding her disappearance. These online forums, podcasts, and websites became platforms for the public to engage with the case, share new ideas, and analyze evidence. Some of these sleuths became instrumental in revisiting old theories and uncovering new angles that might have been overlooked. However, the influx of unverified theories and rampant speculation also led to confusion, and some of the most popular theories ended up conflicting with the facts. This chapter explores the influence of internet sleuths on the case. Did the influx of public attention help or hinder the investigation? Can amateur detectives provide meaningful contributions to real-life investigations? Or are they simply creating noise? The case of Maura Murray is a testament to how digital platforms have reshaped missing persons investigations and the public's role in solving crime. Chapter 9. Revisiting the Evidence. As the years went by, investigators and true crime enthusiasts alike began to take a fresh look at the evidence that had been gathered at the scene of Maura's disappearance. In particular, new forensic techniques and advancements in technology began to allow for deeper analysis of the materials left behind. A closer examination of the crash site, Maura's car, and the surrounding area revealed even more details that had previously been overlooked. Could the evidence point to a more definitive theory, or did it simply raise more questions? In this chapter, we revisit key pieces of evidence, including the car crash itself, the witness reports, and the forensic findings. Could modern technology unlock clues that were previously impossible to see? This chapter reconsiders the initial investigation with the knowledge gained over the years. Chapter 10. The Emotional Toll on Maura's Family. While the mystery of Maura's disappearance continues to puzzle the public and authorities, the emotional toll on her family is perhaps the most significant aspect of the case. In interviews, Maura's parents have spoken about their ongoing search for answers, their grief, and the toll that the years without closure have had on their family. For Maura's parents, every year that passes without knowing what happened to their daughter feels like another year of uncertainty. The psychological impact of having a loved one disappear without a trace is something many can't truly understand unless they've experienced it. This chapter focuses on the human side of the case, the suffering and resilience of Maura's family as they continue to fight for the truth. How do families cope with the trauma of not knowing what happened to their loved one? What emotional resources are necessary to keep searching year after year, knowing the odds of closure grow slimmer? Chapter 11. The Lingering Questions. With no answers in sight, the questions surrounding Maura Murray's disappearance continue to haunt both those investigating the case and the general public. What happened to Maura after she left her car? Did she run away on her own, or was she abducted? Could she still be alive, or did she perish in the harsh New Hampshire wilderness? Over the years, the most haunting question remains. Why did Maura leave her car and disappear that night? Was she hiding something from everyone? Or was she simply in a crisis she didn't know how to escape? These lingering questions continue to fuel the mystery. In this chapter, we attempt to summarize the key questions that have not been answered and reflect on the possibilities. Despite all the time that has passed, it is the open-ended nature of Maura's case that continues to captivate and perplex those who follow it. Chapter 12. The Hope for Closure. Even after all these years, the possibility of closure remains. New leads, advancements in technology, and renewed interest in the case offer a glimmer of hope for Maura's family and the public. Could new evidence or a breakthrough in the case finally provide the answers they've been seeking? This chapter explores the efforts made by law enforcement, private investigators, and the public to continue searching for Maura. While the road to closure has been long and arduous, the desire for answers never diminishes. In some ways, this chapter serves as a reminder that even in the face of uncertainty, the pursuit of justice and the hope for closure can keep a case alive for years. Chapter 13. The enduring impact of Maura's case. Maura Murray's disappearance remains one of the most puzzling and heart-wrenching unsolved cases in modern true crime history. Her story has become emblematic of the complexities of missing persons investigations and the emotional toll they take on families and loved ones. Over the years, Maura's case has led to greater awareness of missing persons and inspired a greater focus on improving the investigative process for such cases. While the mystery of Maura's fate remains unsolved, her story has sparked a broader conversation about how we handle disappearances, mental health issues, and the search for justice. In this final chapter, we reflect on the legacy of Maura Murray's case and its impact on the true crime community and the world at large. While the mystery of what happened to her may never be fully resolved, Maura's case remains a call to action for greater attention and resources to be dedicated to missing persons cases. As we conclude, we honor Maura's story and the hope that one day the truth will finally come to light. Maura Murray's story is a haunting one, filled with unanswered questions, empty spaces where answers should be, and a family left with only their grief and hope. Her case is a reminder of how fragile life can be, and how one moment can change everything. As of now, Maura's disappearance remains a cold case, but her legacy endures through the countless people who continue to search for answers. If you or someone you know has any information about Maura's disappearance, please reach out to the authorities. Every small detail could bring us closer to solving this tragic mystery. Until then, we remember Maura and hope that one day the truth will be revealed, bringing